a phrase that I've been using for years is this one: professional pessimism. A good tester is confident in their ability to find problems, and that that they have. It's often described as a negative viewpoint on the product, but that's not really right, because negative implies that it's unrealistically so, or unremittingly negative, and unable to accept the good realities as well as the bad ones. And that's not really what we're talking about here with professional pessimism. It's an understanding of the realities of software engineering and computing, and just saying, we know there are bugs, and we know that there are risks. We know that there are things that could go wrong, and we need to face those things squarely and manage them without any undue optimism, which of course is the bane of software engineering. I mean, if you look at projects gone awry, and I think back to projects I've been on that did not go well, I think some amount of unwarranted optimism amongst the management team and the project participants themselves was always one of the causes of that. So the testers bring a tempering element to that of I hesitate to use the word conscience of the project, but there is that element of the people that are there to keep us grounded to the quality realities of software, and as well as being mindful of its wonderful potentials. Now, I want to stress that this is not an adversarial thing, and it is not a license to offend people. You want to make sure that the testers you hire have that outlook, but at the same time know how to deliver the message in a way that does not offend people and does not rub people the wrong way. I've interviewed testers who indicated that they had the exact opposite perspective. Like they got no pleasure in life greater than the pleasure of watching a developer's face fall when confronting him or her with horrible news about something they just built. And that's just the wrong person to have on the team. And I've just, in doing assessments with clients and working with clients, I have not ever seen that kind of attitude be something that contributed to success. On the contrary, it was a source of dissension and friction, which then led to ineffectiveness, right? Because you start having conflict within the team, and people, all of the interactions become about the conflict. They're no longer about the project. It's like people trying to shoot holes under somebody else's feet, even though everybody's in the same boat, and it's very counterproductive. We've seen it in a number of situations. So something to think about. Build this within your team, and of course during the interviewing process, be absolutely sure that you're hiring somebody who is a professional pessimist, not somebody who's going to act personally or with malice. Now, another thing that you want to look for in a tester, a good tester is curious. A good tester, when they see something weird happen, says, that's weird. I'm going to dig into that a little bit. They know when to deviate from a written test script and go off and look at things, even things that aren't explicitly specified in the script or that are not defined as expected results to check. They still have that essential element of curiosity where they go, okay, I'll take a look at that. And of course, it's essential if you're going to do any sort of exploratory or other kind of experience-based testing, like using Whitaker's attacks technique or something like that, because the tester is to a great extent guided by this curiosity and those experience-based techniques, and without the proper degree of curiosity will not go in the right places. That said, it does need to be balanced. The tendency to go off and get all wound around things that are not really important is something that you have to really watch out for. I mean, I had a tester once tell me that he was working on a bug report related to the background color of a screen being the wrong shade of blue. And when I asked him for more details, he said, well, you know, it's supposed to be dark blue, but it's more of a sky blue. And this application that we were testing had no inherent ability to control background color. So I said, you know, that sounds a lot to me like it's either a driver problem or you've got a failing video adapter, and you know, you should just escalate that up to tech support, people who supported our test environments. And then I said, how long have you spent on researching this bug? He said 4 hours. It was ridiculous. Now, and this guy was a good guy. He was a good tester in a lot of ways. He very good rapport with the developers. You know, attitude-wise, he's a very good guy and technically very qualified. But he could not differentiate between trivialities and critical things. And you know, you can take someone like that and you can use them to run tightly written scripts, or you can use them as an automator or something like that. But you know, they just tend to just wander off. You know, this attention to detail or something like that is just not quite there. You know, the ability to refocus themselves. So you want to watch out for this too. You want people who they're curious, they wonder about things, but at the same time they know when to put that curiosity aside and say, you know, this is one of the mysteries not worth solving. Which kind of brings us to this next issue of focus as a qualifying personality trait. Focus is tough, you know, because you gotta constantly be trying to move forward, which involves getting actual work done. But then at the same time, periodically you need to ask yourself, well, what, given everything that I know right now, what is the right thing to do next? And it's not always the thing that's next on the task list. You know, I mean, if you manage test teams like I do, you know, you during test execution or even prior to that, you know, you're handing out tasks to people and you're checking in with them periodically to make sure that those tasks are moving forward. Now, you know, I expect people that work for me to be at least the more senior people that I would consider as actual test engineers, not just test technicians. But I would expect those people to be able to look at a situation and understand that the situation had evolved, and perhaps on their own initiative with a email to me or some later check-in to me, modify their task list or priorities to you know, focus on things that are more important immediately. So, you know, that's something that you want to look at. Now, of course, you have, as a manager, you have to give clear direction. You know, I've known some managers that were, you know, they were good guys, good men and women, and they were their people liked them, but they were just, I don't know, their way of communicating was just inscrutable. It's like you just could not figure out what exactly it was that they were saying. This is the overall objective, right? Because I mean, there's the objectives of the project. There's what you're trying to accomplish, and then there's the tasks that you're going to carry out to do that. And you know, you should not mistake the task for the objective. But in order for people to be able to focus, they need you as a manager, assuming you are a manager, to